Good morning Year 5, it's Mr Turnbull here and welcome back for another maths lesson. Let's go through the answers to the challenges from last lesson. A key thing to remember is that we need to make the denominator the same. As you can see, the odd one out in the first calculation is 8. The other two are 16. So, to change 8 to 16 we need to multiply it by 2. So that we have all denominators on the bottom showing 16. Five 16ths add 10 16ths makes 15 16ths. So all we need to do to make this calculation is change 10 16ths back into 8ths. 16 divided by 2 gives us 8, and 10 divided by 2 gives us 5. So the answer is 5/8. The same with the bottom. The odd one out again is 7/10 because the denominator is 10, not 20. So we need to change that into a 20th. So 7 times 2 makes 14, 10 times 2 makes 20. That gives us a total of 14 20ths, and that leaves us with 3 20ths to make 17 20ths. So there's your answer for the first one. Challenge number 2, you can see an example answer here which is very good. Annie is wrong because she has just added the numerators and denominators. When adding with fractions and with different denominators, you need to find a common denominator. This is what we've been working really hard on this week. So as you can see, to prove this wrong, I have made the calculation at the side, and I need it to make the 3/4 into 16ths. Now to get from 4 to 16, we times by 4 to give us 16, and times 3 by 4 gives us 12, so the answer is 15 16ths. Well done for your effort on these challenges. I've been really impressed with some of the answers on Teams. So in today's lesson, our learning objective is to be able to add unlike fractions where the sum is greater than 1, creating mixed numbers or improper fractions, and you can see an example of these below. This is our in focus task for today. As you can see, we're going to be working in the measure of kilograms. There was 3/4 of a kilogram of rice in a container. Find the weight of rice in the container after another 1/2 of a kilogram is added. If you're feeling really confident, you think you've got an idea of how to do this, I'm happy for you to pause the video and have a go now. To help us complete this task, I've used this bar model. As you can see, these two fractions are 3/4 and 1/2. Now how can we change this to make it a little bit easier? What I have done is converted the fractions so that they both have the same denominator, and as we know, 1/2 is the same as 2/4. But the problem is, when we add these two together, we have a number greater than 1/2, and the fraction would be 5/4, and this is what we call an improper fraction. On the screen, again, I've used a bar model to show us the method that I've used. This bar model here shows 5/4, and you can see that it's got 1/4 left over, one greater than 1/2. And 4/4 make 1/2, and we've got 1/4 left over, so the mixed number fraction would be 1 and 1/4. This is an example of the type of question you're going to face today. Find the sum of 2/3 and 4/9. Is it an improper fraction, and is it in its simplest form? Again, if you feel comfortable, pause the video, have a go and check your answer as we go through the presentation. Again, to make this calculation easier, I've converted the denominator so that both denominators are the same. And remembering that we do the same to the numerator as we do to the denominator, 3 times 3 makes 9, and 2 times 3 makes 6. You can see this calculation here. Now it's a little bit more simple. 6/9 add 4/9. The problem with this calculation again is that it makes an improper fraction. And I've illustrated this using the images below. So we've got 6/9 here, 4/9 here. When we add them together, we end up with 1 whole and 1/9, or 10/9. As you can see, the mixed number fraction is 1 and 1/9, and the improper fraction is 10/9. These are the challenges that my class are going to face today. Make sure you remember all of the key points that we've been through throughout the presentation. After you've completed those calculations, this is going to be our challenge for the day. Now to do this, we're going to have to use our approach that we used in school, which was a systematic approach. There are lots of different steps to this challenge, and you'll have to check them off one by one after you've given an answer. Please don't try and rush to a conclusion. The sum of 3 fractions is 2 and 1/8. The fractions have different denominators. All of the fractions are greater than or equal to a half. None of the fractions are improper fractions. All of the denominators are factors of 8. What could the fractions be? So there's a lot of different steps there, and what I would suggest is that after you've came up with an answer, you would go through and check each section to make sure the fractions that you've given match all of the criteria. Good luck. I look forward to marking your work on Teams. Enjoy the rest of your week.